Have you read 1984? Hands up if you read 1984. Wow, that's pretty good. How many? Yeah. The fact is, research on several occasions show that at least a quarter of the people who claim to have read 1984 are lying. So I'm afraid we have to take points away from you. Yeah. Can you put your hand up if you said you'd read it, but actually secretly you haven't?
Oh, come on.
Come on.
You look very secret.
The honest man in the back has earned some of the audience. I have to confess here, I studied English at university. I haven't read it.
I should hope not. What kind of English degree would it include something written as late as 1940?
Well, that's true. Yes, we read things written in 1370. But I kind of felt I didn't need to, which is an appalling thing to say.
Oh, it's terribly good, Stephen.
Well, I kind of... I
Look at
know...
all the TV shows named after it.
Two, at least. Room 101 and Big Brother.
Oh, that's Room mine.
Oh, sorry. I know how it opens. It opens with the clock striking 13. I know the character's
Really
called
good,
Winston.
and they made a film of it with John Hurt.
Yeah.
It's hard to bother, isn't it, when there's a great film of a book? I was the same with A Muppet Christmas Carol. I feel it's been done.
Why would you
I know
bother?
what the turkey does in the story. Why read it?
It is a masterpiece of a film, it has to be said.
I lie a lot to impress people. And I'll be honest now, I have never read The Hungry Caterpillar. I get so close to the end, and I get too emotional. I'm like, he's gonna die. He's overfed himself. I can't do it, and I stop. So I just pretend that I've read it.
No, he becomes a butterfly.
Is he Kaiser?
Spoiler!
So sorry, that was wrong of me. Oh. I knew someone who gave away the end of Psycho. It's nearly as serious as that.
Oh, my God.
There are some books that you don't need to bother reading, like good books that you don't need to bother reading. Like, it's controversial to say it, but I don't think Harry Potter is worth reading. It is so expertly narrated on the audiobooks.
You're so right.
No, but I do, after I listen to the Harry Potter books, with you narrating them, everything in my life is narrated by Stephen Fry. All my thoughts, my internal monologue is now Stephen Fry's voice. Even the dirty thoughts are Stephen's voice. No, it makes it acceptable. I had a sexual thought the other day. I put my hand in the air. I had a sexual thought about Camilla Parker Bowles. It didn't seem weird because Stephen was saying it to me. Showing their weight around in Toronto.
This is Rob Ford.
Rob Ford, the mayor.
Ford.
Yeah. He's a bit out of control, isn't he? They can't do
Yes.
anything about it. They can't get rid of him. And he sort of basically said, yeah, I did crack cocaine, but I was completely pissed at the time. That's kind of been his defence.
Yeah. Haven't they got rid of him by now, though? Hasn't he
No,
gone?
he's still staying. Back in Rob Ford, mayor of Toronto.
They can't get rid of him.
I mean, people these days do resign at the drop of a hat. It's hard not to slightly admire the guy when he's this bang to rights. He's been caught on video smoking crack cocaine.
Yeah.
So you think
So
Paul
don't worry,
Flowers
Rob
should
Ford.
stay
Richard
on?
Bacon is throwing his weight behind you, so
Yeah.
you're going to be all right.
Let me tell you the best fact of the week. This is the best fact of the week. When he admitted that he'd smoked crack cocaine, his approval ratings went up.
Boris, if you're watching.
Yeah.
But how low were they when they... It might be just the crack dealers going, yeah.
Have you got the footage of when he ran around the Parliament?
Oh,
and
I have.
This is like a bowling ball.
This is
it.
him running around the City Hall debating chamber and knocking over a pensioner. Buffet's open.
And now, in honour of Victoria, QI does only connect. Cue music. The greatest programme on television after QI.
Hello.
Yes. Does that ring any bells with you? So could you
yeah.
choose, please, an Egyptian hieroglyph?
Oh, my goodness, I've never had the chance to do this before.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
the Eye of Horus.
Eye of Horus it is. You have to find the connection between these 5 things. First, John F. Kennedy profiles in courage. Lots of points, of course, if you get it from 1. All right? Anybody else is allowed to buzz, of course, if they think they know. And the second one? Schumann theme and variations in E-flat. Whoa. What's that patronising,
You
Jack?
can all piss off.
What's it got to do with the Eye of Horus?
No, that's you choose. Have you never watched? You've never watched Only Connect?
Not a whole one, no.
Not the whole. All you have to do is find what's in common. But Only Connect, literally.
Well, I think the F stands for his middle name.
know about Schumann, but if I was on a team on Only Connect, I'd ask them, is it like the second thing they wrote?
Oh, that's very good.
Stephen, in my head, is Schumann a composer?
Thank you. Robert Schumann.
Robert Schumann.
And so let's have the third one, because I don't think you're getting it from two. John Prescott, Prezza.
Goodness me.
Schumann's nickname is Theme and Variation.
Was that one of the Sugar Babes lineups?
So I think we better have a look at the fourth one. Fewer points, but this might help. Alcoholics Anonymous on the 12 steps. The last one will give it to you. So the last one is only for 1 point.
You can see why I never got to the end of it.
No, you see the last one, and I think... All right, struggle for the buzzer.
They were Ghostwriters!
Yes! Well done, John. Steady. Whoa. You've made a happy man feel very old. What are deserts mostly made from? Yes, Sarah.
Sand.
Oh, thank you. You'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Not the case. No, only 1/3 of the world's land surface is desert, and only a small proportion of that is sand. North American deserts are around 2% sand. No more than that. There's Monument Valley. Globally, on average, only 20% of all deserts is sand, a fifth. The remainder is made of rock, shingle, salt, or even snow.
And camels.
And camels.
Camel
Lots
poo.
of cigarettes all over the desert. The driest desert in the world is...
The Gobi Desert.
No? Any thoughts?
Antarctica.
Well, there is an argument for saying the Antarctic is a dry desert.
It doesn't rain there.
But, yeah, it doesn't. But Atacama is considered the driest land desert. Some weather stations there have recorded no rain whatsoever, not one.
What a boring job.
Yeah. The largest desert on Earth is Antarctica. Even though much of it is under snow, but the one area that is the driest, man who shouts a lot, are the McMurdo Dry Valleys.
It's Red Indian now.
Yeah. And they consist mostly of... They consist... Man who shouts a lot. The McMurdo Dry Valleys are so dry that dead animals mummify rather than decay. So, it seems that if you want to identify a desert, the best way to do so involves looking for rain, not for sand.
Basically, Ryan Giggs has spent an awful lot of money to ensure that he's become world famous for stuff other than football.
Yeah.
But people still might be sued for telling people that it was him, so...
Yeah, well, that's right. The MP, John Hemming,
Yeah.
he said that apparently 75,000 people named Ryan Giggs on Twitter. It's not possible to arrest them all. Well, I mean, it's worth a go, though, isn't it? I mean, well, the weird thing is, the injunction is still in place.
That's right.
That's the thing.
Absolutely.
Despite the people keep going blabbing it out, there's a legal expert, Joshua Rosenberg.
Yeah.
This is what he had to say about it, right?
Well, the law is clear. There is still a court order in force which says that we can't name Ryan Giggs as the person who brought these proceedings.
I'm pleased we can say his name, though, because I was getting so fed up. Every newspaper, every day, it was like, Imogen Thomas has been having sexual liaisons with a man who cannot be named. It's like, what, Voldemort?
Yeah.
I sort of see why he did it as well, Ryan Giggs. Because you get the super injunction, he knows that if his identity was known, then people would know not only who he was, but also that his marriage was on the rocks. And at that point, John Terry would be round his house like a sex-crazed whippet.
Yes, the worst-kept secret in Britain is finally out. Lawyers are a complete waste of money. As the row unfolded, thousands of Twitter users named Ryan Giggs in what the Daily Mail called one of the biggest acts of civil disobedience in modern times. Top that, Syria, lightweights.
The ancient Greeks used it for earache. Columbus took 80 tons of it to America, and Henry VIII made it compulsory. What am I talking about?
Oh, hang on a second. What's the theme of the show? It's joints?
Yes.
I'm going to guess marijuana.
Ooh, marijuana is the right answer. Hemp, cannabis, yes.
So he took 80 tons to America?
Yes.
You're saying that he's
Columbus.
a trafficker? Saying Columbus is a drug trafficker?
He must have had a very big sphincter.
It was pretty enormous.
Pretty nervous when you got a customs, I would imagine.
Well, as you probably know, cannabis plant is also used for the creation of hemp and ropes. He had tons of it just on his ship alone of rope made from hemp. And also it was made under King James, it was made compulsory for the colonials to grow it and to use it. They mostly wore hemp clothing. And hemp was used as an oil, as a lubricant, and all kinds of things. As you can buy hemp oil now. But by the middle of the 19th century, cannabis was recommended by the US Pharmacopoeia for the following disorders: neuralgia, tetanus, typhus, cholera, rabies, dysentery, alcoholism, anthrax, leprosy, incontinence, snakebite, gout, tonsillitis, and insanity.
So that seemed to be a list of pretty much everything, though. I would imagine if you went into the chemist, it sounds like they only had one thing. What have you got? One, I'll have a think.
Well, there's a Greek word for that, panacea, a cure-all, literally. And so they did more or less think it was a panacea, as they did so many drugs, as they did heroin when that came out, and cocaine.
Well, in defence of both of those, it will take the edge off.
But there are still people who believe it. People are very keen for the legalisation of medicinal marijuana.
It seems weird that we haven't got medicinal marijuana, but we've got medicinal heroin.
Yes, isn't
That's
it?
kind of an odd quirk, isn't it?
I suppose so, except that, of course, there is no real painkiller available except the one that we get from the poppy, which includes morphine and heroin. We just can't make a drug that does the same thing.
Mummy's hugs.
Mummy's hugs and kisses. Sweetheart.
Mummy's hugs.
That's so
and
lovely.
then if they don't work, heroin.
Yeah. I think you've got it spot on the money, Jack. Absolutely. What kind of logical reasoning did Sherlock Holmes use? L for logic there. Oh, lavatorial. That's not correct. Lavatorial reasoning. Take me through lavatorial reasoning.
You do, because when you go to the loo, it unclogs your body and your mind.
Oh, I see.
So, like, really it does. Yeah, when I'm at home, if I'm stressed by something, like a dishwasher, I can't load the dishwasher properly and it's not working, there's loads of bowls and I can't get them in. I'm like, Jack, take a step back, go and drop the kids off at the pool and come back to it. You sit on the loo, you think, right, what's the task going to be like? How am I going to attack this? Let's work out a game plan, a strategy. You deploy the troops, come back, and I'm slamming those plates in like Tetris.
You leave your children alone at a swimming pool.
That was a horrible metaphor.
I thought you were young. I thought a bit young to have children you could just drop off at the pool. That means have a poo. I didn't know that meant have a poo. Drop it at the pool. Yeah. I like that. That's quite a good one.
The logic is good as well.
But we have no evidence that that's used. But we do know from the books the kind of logic he used. There are different sorts of logic.
Well, now, if you eliminate the impossible, you're left with the possible.
Yes, if everything...
Deduction.
No, not deduction.
Oh, you idiot.
Deduction is essentially reasoning something which is unchallengeable. It must be true. You're given a set of premises and the deduction is true. So if you say all humans are mortal, Alan Davis is human, we can say that. Therefore, Alan Davis is mortal. That's just simply an absolute fact. It must be true. If those two premises are true, then the synthesis must be true as well. But abductive reasoning would be saying something like, I saw Alan Davis in an Arsenal scarf. He always cries when Arsenal lose. I saw Alan crying. Therefore, Arsenal just lost. Now, that isn't certainly true, but it's the kind of logic that Sherlock Holmes used. Not absolutely certain and definite to be true, but he was nearly always right. He reasoned abductively. So that's the sort he used. I'm going to show you how your senses can deceive. Right. So, Alan and Jack, you should each have a rubber hand and a little grey wooden partition. Alan will explain and Jack will explain.
Really? I'm not quite au fait with prosthetics, but I'll give it a crack. Oh, my hand. I see.
You can stand up, Jack, if you like.
Oh, yeah, I forgot what I'm doing. Okay, this goes here.
Under this one, I just put it.
Yeah, like that.
OK, what you've got here is a perfectly obvious real hand, your right hands, and a perfectly obvious fake hand. And you've each got a brush. So all I want you to do is brush each hand sort of simultaneously. What you should feel, Adam and Sarah...
Excruciating pain.
is that...
As I jab hard into the hands. They're raw. Sarah, scream!
We'll come to that. At the moment, just a gentle rubbing. Eventually...
This hand will fall off.
Eventually, you will feel in the rubber hand the same sensation you feel in your real hand, which seems extraordinary.
Yeah.
But you will. And let me know when you do.
Okay.
It may not have happened yet.
And then you will
you have to keep going. Sorry. You have to keep going.
I'm doing I'm keeping going. I'm keeping going.
Have you started to feel
I'm now starting to feel that this is my hand.
That's it. That's what happens.
Having trouble
Are
distinguishing.
you not, Sarah?
No.
You're not feeling anything?
No.
Keep going, Alan.
Oh, that's nice.
You like?
Yeah.
So you can feel that in the rubber hand.
Lower. Yeah, definitely. Lower.
Hey, you play your cards right, might get a happy ending with this.
You're not feeling anything, Sarah?
It feels so much like my hand, like a separate...
Oh, now it does feel like your hand.
No, not that hand. My hand feels
Well,
like
that
my
would do,
hand.
yes.
My hand has never felt more like it belongs to me.
I'm going faster.
I think that will help.
Okay, I got it! It's happening! I got it! Faster is better. Keep it
Right. It really does feel like... It's bizarre, isn't it? It's genuinely bizarre. And now you can get out the other brush.
What?
What?
That's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing, because I didn't believe it was going to happen.
No, you didn't believe. That's what's so good, is you really didn't believe. It doesn't matter how much you know your hand is fake. It doesn't matter how much you know it's rubber. The effect works. You see it. You see that it's a clear fake, but extraordinary. The brain overrides what it knows with what it feels. That's to say, the cognitive side.
That's not that he's just next to a slightly mal-coordinated man-child with a rubber hand.
We can show you a replay of Adam's reaction here, because we've actually got it here. If you watch this here...
Oh, that shirt is awful.
That is genuine. And it's made all the more extraordinary by the fact, of course, you, as is well known, have a prosthetic foot.
I do indeed.
And so you are used to all the cliches there are about prosthesis and about phantom limbs and all the rest of it. And as you well know from wartime, the screams of pain people had once they'd been amputated in the limbs that no longer existed. They swore that their shins or
And
their
having
feet...
itches in a limb you can't
Itches. Can't imagine anything more agonising than having an itch in something you can't scratch.
It's now time for the odd one out round. Just one between you this week. Ming the mollusk, Glenn Greenwald's phone, Bert Kwok, and the E. coli 0157.
Well, I think it's called Ming the mollusk because it's 500 years old and dates back to the Ming dynasty. And scientists found it, didn't know how old it was, killed it.
Yeah.
And then discovered it was the oldest animal that they think has ever lived.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can get ill from eating those.
Yeah.
E. coli can make you ill.
Absolutely. Bert Kwok, is it the actor or is it the part he's playing there in the Pink Panther films as Kato? It's the actor.
It's the part.
It's
He's
the
playing
part.
Kato.
Give us a clue.
Yeah.
Containing the answer. Oh, cold. Cold.
Oh, right, OK. Yes, Kato was hidden in a fridge.
Yes.
He was hiding in a fridge in one of the films, shot in the dark, I think, and he comes, bang. So it's about people being put in fridges. The mollusk should have been put in a fridge and it would have survived. Kato jumped out of a fridge, he was all right. The E. coli bacteria is all right if you freeze it. And it's the bloke with the phone.
His phone was
the
hidden
fridge
in a
thing was right. Everything else was wrong, but
Yeah,
I'm still
good.
going to give you a point because I feel like we should move on.
No, but the other one out was Glenn Greenwald's phone.
No, it wasn't. Stop taking over. You can do that on your radio show, which is on at 3:30.
Have you got a radio show?
Yeah, Mondays 2
I'm going to write that down.
The odd one out is Ming the mollusk.
Ming the mollusk.
All the others have survived a stint in the freezer, except for Ming the mollusk, who died. Glenn Greenwald, the former Guardian journalist who was involved in the publication of the intelligence emails leaked by Edward Snowden, regularly used to put his phone in the freezer. Why would he do that?
He was worried it would be bugged.
Or security, yes. There's an even more effective place you can put your phone to stop anyone hacking it. Any ideas?
Is that News International HQ?
A martini shaker.
Oh, OK.
E. coli 0157, one of the nastiest strains of E. coli, can survive in the fridge or the freezer. How old were you when you first got colonised by an E. coli bacterium, Janet?
Funnily enough, I had amoebic dysentery when I was 7. And I was actually in hospital.
How on earth did you get that? I thought that was...
I got it in Fulham. I grew up quite near you, Paul.
Yes.
I think it's something you sent from Fulham Palace Road to my
Oh, I
road.
used to send out those parcels all the time.
Ming the mollusk was an ocean quahog, a type of clam. How easy is it to date a clam?
Well, you have to get them drunk first.
There's an app called Chowder.
Yeah.
You need to watch out for chlamydia, though. It's quite... No, I've never dated a clam before.
No.
Pulled a few muscles. But if nothing else, this story brought out a certain solidarity amongst headline writers. What do you think The Independent, The Mirror and The Mail all went with for their headline?
Clam dead after 500 years. No, that wouldn't be very good, would it? Shuts.
Clam shut. Clam shell, clam shut, clam...
Clam...
Tears, cry.
yes. Clam claps mime artist. No.
Are you taking the piss? You know what it is now.
No. You do. This is what stupid people look like.
I've never seen anyone worse at charades than you.
No. That is a very good clam mime.
We got the clam
Oh,
bit.
sorry. The sad bit, the sorrow. What would happen? Oh, damn, it's such a...
A shame.
Crocodile.
What a shame! Calamity! A calamity, Ian!
No, that's terrible.
Oh, Ian, what is it terrible? It's a calamity! I'm not mad, am I? You all got that.
What were the tears for? How would that lead us to calamity as a
That
pun?
was useless.
Right, you're all going. You can be the panellist now. Come on.
So, to the epilogue that we call general ignorance. Time for fingers on buzzers, please. What comes before a fall?
Pride.
It's a book of Proverbs in the King James Bible. It says, pride goeth before destruction, and haughty spirit before a fall. And there you are.
Well...
I know.
Nitpicking, isn't it?
It is. Welcome to QI, Mr. Davis. We pick nits like no one else. But things that are misquoted are rather fun. There's a 2009 survey that found that the most common misquote is mispronouncing the phrase damp squib as damp squid. Oh, yeah, it was a bit of a damp squid.
What kind of idiot would say that?
What?
I've definitely said that.
It would mean something completely different because you want a squid to be damp.
Well, yeah,
don't
it would
you?
be horrible to have a dry
Would
squid.
be the very best sort of squid.
Oh, a deep-fried squid is lush, though, isn't it?
Calamari.
You can say that as a compliment, then. What a damp squid.
Yeah, exactly. Other things include on tender hooks instead of tenter hooks. Nipping something in the butt, which is quite a mute point instead of a moot point.
Well, it's a catch-24, isn't it?
Yeah. They're called eggcorns, as in from a mangling of acorns. There's, in lame man's terms, is used apparently, cut to the cheese. That's good. It is, isn't it? The feeble position instead of the fetal position. Which is very odd.
I've definitely had the feeble position.
Soaping wet, which is a sort of mix between sopping wet and soaking wet, I think.
That sounds filthy.
Giving up the goat.
I think that's a Welsh one. I think.
I'm so glad you put your hand up to that one. I wasn't really going to mention it. Getting your nipples in a twist.
Well, Kath and Kim, they have a lot of these. They're always saying things wrong.
Yeah.
When she's hungry, she goes, I'm absolutely ravishing him.
Chickens coming home to roast, I rather like. They fuck themselves as they come and just land gently on your plate. Here's a lovely list of Victorian slang. What do these L words mean? We've got lollygagging or lollygagging, last shake of the bag, land of Scots, land of cakes, lemon squash party.
I know lollygagging.
Yeah.
That's when you squeeze too hard at the bottom of your calippo.
Oh. Followed by brain freeze.
What if you do that and you squeeze too hard, then it comes right out of the tube, but you can't deal with it all? What do you do? Do you bite it off?
You lollygag.
A leg maniac's one of those people whose leg twitches when they're sitting in a chair.
It would be a good name for them. I used to do that terribly as a teenager, just the endless bouncing.
I've been doing it all show.
It's very hard to stop once you start,
It's so hard, and now I'm thinking about it.
Oh,
I'm not thinking about it. Stephen Fry's thinking about it.
You should roll with it, because Michael Flatley made a living out of that.
I know one of them.
Yes, say it.
Land O'Cakes is Robert Burns, isn't it?
Yes, you're absolutely right. Scotland.
Talking about Scotland.
Scotland,
yeah.
good. But Land of Scots, you'd think would be Scotland, it isn't. It's actually heaven. Go figure. Learning shover, you might guess.
Teacher.
Yes, quite right. You know a bit about that?
Yes, can I have a point?
Yes, you certainly can. Lallygagging, it means to flirt, Jack.
Oh, yes.
Flirting.
I did a bit of flirting, didn't I, last time I was on?
You did. You
But I
lallygagged.
decided, because it was very awkward when the show went out, and I had a very long conversation with my father. And I watched
Have you
that,
got something
and
to tell me, Jack?
No, I looked very... I look back at him, and to be honest, I looked desperate for your affection. So this evening, I've decided to deploy a little bit of carrot and a little bit of stick.
Very good.
Because last time I showed you too much of my carrot.
A very charming carrot it was, too. Lemon squash party looks like something you could put into the internet and find...
Tennis players.
Yes. It's part of a movement that was very popular in the 19th century, a rather dull movement to many of us, perhaps. It's very straightforward. Temperance. It is an all-male party where only lemon squash was served.
I mean, we've all had a lemon squash party. It's the party that comes after the after party. Last shake of the bag.
That's my favourite.
Is that... Is it like something to do with you, like your yeah. Is it like your last child?
Yes,
child?
your youngest child.
'Cause it's the last
shake of the bag. It's a terrific phrase. Meet Benjamin, he's my last shake of the bag. Yes, you had teacher. Leg maniac is the only one we haven't covered, and it's just really an eccentric dancer, rather frenzied dancer.
I was right with Flatley then.
Yes, you were, basically. They're rather pleasing. I'm particularly sorry the last shake of the bag's gone out of the room.
Thank you for watching.